If we put a y'all come sign on America, don't kid yourself. Everybody will come. We could fill this country up in 10 years. We could go from a population that sits around, what is it now, about 300 million? We could go to a population of 500 million and a billion in a flash, just like that. And it's because this country represents so much in the way of positive allure. And we emphasize the materialism and the jobs and the economic opportunity, but believe me, in countries where people can't hold their heads up in the presence of oppressive elites, where they can't have their dignity because they are stomped down with the belief that where you're born and how you're doing things, that determines who you are, they long to breathe the free air and enjoy the dignity and self-respect that has come to be associated with our country. So don't fool yourselves. Put a y'all come sign on America, and billions will come. Not millions anymore. And so the question then becomes, do we mean to do that? Because if you open the door wide, that's what's going to happen. Well, I think everybody who has any common sense would say, well, no, we don't want to do that. We've got to have some rational and responsible regulation, so that we can make sure that the country can handle it, the infrastructure can deal with it, so we can make sure that the different values that go into helping our society to function, including respect for our constitutional process, a willingness to accept the outcome of elections, things we take for granted. But if you look around at the rest of the world, that culture that we take for granted, where after our guy loses an election, we just all go back to work on the following day and hope that we can do better next time, I hope you've noticed that that's not the way things are often done in other parts of the world. People unhappy with elections will take to the street, they'll start killing, they'll start burning, they'll start tearing the place down or picking the automatic weapons up. That doesn't happen in America, and it's not an accident. It's because we have accepted the discipline of self-government and the discipline of constitutionalism. And that's something that I think we ought to be all eager to share with all the folks around the world who would like to share it, and certainly with some who want to come and be part here of this great experiment. They keep telling us that these folks are coming in to do jobs Americans won't do. And you and I both know that really what they're saying is that these people are coming in to do jobs at a wage that a lot of Americans wouldn't accept. See? Oh. Now, does it strike you as fair that after spending all this time building and defending a country in which we can sustain a certain quality of life, in which we've been able to work out a system where we don't allow a wealthy few to keep the wealth from circulating into the hands of all the people who help to produce it? Do you think after working so hard to produce that result, we should stand by and allow an immigration policy that has as its explicit purpose the objective of cheapening labor in this country? Have we lost our minds? I really don't understand what's going on here. And when I listen to folks tell me that there are some union leaders championing the cause of illegal immigration, I just scratch my head. I suppose these are folks who sort of feel like if we all get into a situation of oppression again, we'll feel like we have more need of them. And so I'm sick and tired of the incumbents coming to us acting like this problem dropped on us out of the sky, acting like we should ignore a record of 10 and 20 and 30 years of willful indifference and neglect to the common good of the American people. People who are still unwilling to defend our principles, to defend our language, and to stand up now and agree with all common sense Americans that we have the right to defend our border. We have got to stop shrinking from the problem and start putting on the border the manpower that's needed to deal with the situation. And not just to play games at it, because that border situation requires document checking. You're also dealing with dangerous people who are bringing in drugs and carrying all kinds of automatic weapons. We have dangers as well as immigrants. And when you've got immigrants, it might be a police problem, but when you've got dangers, that's a military problem. And I see, this is one of the things we don't understand. What's the difference between a policeman and a soldier? A policeman defends the law. A soldier defends the country. Along our border, we have both challenges. There's the need to defend the laws and regulations we put in place with respect to entry, and there's the need to defend our country against some really dangerous people who mean to poison us with drugs or kill us with their terrorist intentions. There is therefore both a police and a military challenge. We need to stop acting like we can't. We have the technology and we have the resources to seal that border. We can put up the fences that are needed, not as the whole solution, but as part of the solution. We can put in place the border guard that's needed and develop the proper training and techniques to get the job done. And finally, we can encourage our leaders to stop their arrogant dismissal of the voluntarism of the American people. If there are thousands and tens of thousands of Americans willing to act as an auxiliary to put eyes on that border, I say more power to them. The government should work with them, not against them. It's about time.